we're just going to drop one prison story out there so you got a taste of what's to come because he's got so many and they are all off the hook. I mean, it's there's humorous moments, but there's also dark and dangerous moments as well. So, thank you for coming on. Would you rather be called Samson or Yammy?
Uh, Call me Samson, Sean.
Samson,
Yeah,
okay.
it's all right for me to call you Sean.
Absolutely,
All
yeah.
right, thank you, Sean.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much for coming on.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
did listen to your other stuff. I was really gripped. And there was a story about Big H.
yeah.
How did that come about? What year was it? Where were you at?
I was in Swellside in 1995, Sean.
So, what is Swaleside? Because I've got half of my viewers are Americans and they don't understand a lot of terminology.
Yeah, Swellside's like a slight step down from the Cates, but though it's set out like dispersal, the way the landings are and everything. But it's a B cat for long termers and people that have come out the Cates to go there. But in those days, Swellside was like run like a Cat A, if you get what I
So,
mean.
it's almost the max.
It's almost a max. It looks like a max. Yeah, the layout, Sean. Yeah, that one springs to mind this morning because I forgot about it until you mentioned because you asked me when certain things happened to me, Sean, and during that stage there, that was the early part, the 90s, when I first started dabbling with hard stuff in prison and realizing that obviously I wasn't somebody that got visits in prison and didn't really correspond with outside life much. And I looked at prison for most of my life as a playground because I never had no time out. So my behavior was erratic and chaotic throughout the 40 years, Sean. And that particular day, there was loads of people selling gear at that time in Swellside. And I used to look up to H. He was a powerlifter like me, great physique. He could knock out people with either hand. And we became a tag team. And some of the personnel on the wing that were selling drugs, we used to kind of strong arm and bully and, to get small joeys off them morning and night and that kind of stuff. And one morning he come for me and he said to me, yeah, follow me on the yard, on the exercise, because exercise was like 8 in the morning for breakfast. Like you just go out on the yard and you mix with like the other wings opposite each other. So ours would have been, I was on D and C was opposite. So we've gone out. So I'm thinking, all right, he's got a plan to come up with some gear. So we've gone out there. He's called a geezer into the alleyway away from the eyesight of the screw, Sean. And he's in there a couple of minutes and I'm thinking, well, he's taking a bit long. What's he doing? So when I got in there, Sean, he's got one hand holding both of the geezer's wrists and going through his pockets. So he's come out with some phone cards, and as I've turned up, he's saying, hold them. So there was about 100 phone cards, which is a lot during those times in prison. So you know that he was a big dealer of that kind in prison. So then he got the wraps out and he took the gear off him and pushed him down. And then the whole of C wing, as we was walking back onto D wing, the yard was surrounding us. And like we was going backwards and talking and they're saying, oh, you're taking liberties, Yammy, you're taking liberties, H. So we're backing off. I'm thinking, well, I didn't even come out with a tool, Sean. So it was the first eye opener because in the early days, I was always more for a fist first, when my robbery days in prison were going on. But we backed off, Sean, went upstairs, had a smoke. And while we was up there, about half hour later, the Labour Board was called. And, the Labour is where everybody goes to work. And I've gone down there, followed him. And we both got T-shirts on with big muscles and all that. And Sean, we reached the front and one person came first and was talking to H, saying to him like, oh, H, man, that was a liberty. What, come on, man. You could have asked him and he would have given it to you. And I was leaning on the corner of the wall, Sean. And the guy that got robbed came up behind the person that was talking to H, a real coward one. And he had a big spike weapon that, like the ice pick things with a handle. And he stabbed him over the shoulder. And all I could see, I was shocked because I wasn't expecting it, especially with the screws being there, Sean. And So I see the little patch of blood, see the stain coming through the t-shirt, but I reacted too slow, and I went in front of him to back it for him.
Was it just a one hitter?
Just a one hit, and then the geezer backed off. Now, Shaun, I started to move, but I didn't move that quick, and I got in front of him. H backed off like he was in disbelief, but later on I was thinking, why didn't you start swinging? You normally do. But I've moved to the geezer that got robbed, and I got one there. The scar I showed you this morning. That was
when you say you got one.
Yeah,
what happened?
I got one. Then I grabbed him, picked him up in my arms, and then I got a slight one.
So he stuck you?
Yeah, he stuck me, and it hit the bone.
It hit the bone.
It hit the bone.
You felt it?
I didn't at first, Shaun, but yeah, I felt something like you felt, because it went in a tiny little bit. You can see that the two holes are still there now, which was how many years ago? 95 years ago. And I've grabbed him, picked up another one behind the neck.
Your adrenaline's just going.
My adrenaline's going, but I'm not moving fast, Shaun. In later years, I developed much more speedier skills to do the jobs in there that I did, sadly.
And we will be getting to those.
And Shaun, and then everybody started running at me from Seaweed.
Everybody? How many people?
Like 5. Like they run past the lady with the board, and then I was trying to dodge and dance and pick up a little couple of pokes here and there.
Are they tooled up?
They're all tooled up. So obviously the drug dealers gone on the wing, Shaun, after being robbed, and go, listen, I'll give you that, you come with me. And then
so you got 5 guys with knives coming at you?
Yeah. So I picked up a couple more holes, smaller holes, Shaun, but the bell went.
You're getting stabbed left and right.
I'm getting stabbed left and right. But Shaun, the funny thing was, the officer pressed the bell, and obviously I didn't have a chance to react. So I was more upset that I never got to do anything. And, my reputation and what I thought of myself during that time, Shaun. And, I wanted to be known as a drug robber so that, people feared you so that you could get drugs. But, they come and they said, oh, no, you're going to need. And then another guy come and said, Yammy, look, it's bleeding. Let me put the flannel over it. And he goes, look, just stay cool. And then all the screws come.
So are you out of your cell? And they're coming up to you saying you need to get help, or you got back to yourself?
I'm still by the door.
You're by the door, okay.
But still by the door where the bell's gone off, and Shaun. So Shaun, so they're saying, oh look, you're gonna have to go hospital with that. And H was still in the background with his, saying that he's not going hospital, he doesn't need to, and But obviously I could feel mine where it was on the bone. I was thinking, you better go. So then they took me to it took ages to get to that hospital in South. So
how do you go from being stabbed to getting to the hospital? Like, do you have to, the guards come? What happens?
The guards come, Shaun, and obviously they're saying, listen, you might be in trouble where it is, because it was underneath the heart, as you see there, Shaun.
Yeah.
But I wasn't fainting or anything like that, Shaun.
Yeah.
I was in the ambulance, and I was thinking, bloody hell, if I was dying. Like, it takes ages to get there from Swellside to the Isle of Sheppey. And
have they put anything on it to stop it?
No, because it wasn't profusely bleeding.
Just leaking?
Just leaking, yeah. And I could see the inside of the flesh, Shaun.
Yeah.
And it made me a little bit scary, because obviously I think that was the first time I ever got stabbed. Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
So that was the first time you saw the inside of your flesh like that?
Yeah, I saw the inside of my flesh.
Were there other times you saw the inside of your flesh?
No, Shaun.
Okay.
I was lucky, not until I died recently on the vegetable thing, which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
But no, Shaun, I was in the ambulance, 40 minutes to get to hospital. And while I was there cuffed up, they came with a stitching thing. I said, no, I'll stitch up myself, kind of thing. I was giving it all the big one. But I was lopsided, Shaun, because there was one there.
For 40 minutes, you're leaking?
I was leaking, and but not in... I don't remember feeling like I was going to die or anything.
You weren't feeling faint or anything?
No, I wasn't feeling faint, Shaun. And in the hospital, when I was cuffed, I remember the police coming in, and they said, oh, well, Yammy, this was a serious attempt on your life. And I said, the only sentence I said is why ain't I dead then? And then they left. So obviously, I wasn't going to say who done it and all that.
So how was it stitched up in the end?
I stitched it, Shaun.
What's the procedure?
Well, they give me the needle. I asked for a needle and a thread, because I remember a Chinese man in Brixton in the 80s. I was with him. As it goes, he's doing a triple life for an arson murder. Victor, he was a hitman in jail as well. A Vietnamese guy. He's been in there about 30 years, right? But he showed me. He said, so basically I did it all wrong, Shaun. So I didn't know what I was
Take us
doing.
through it, what you did.
Well, I put the needle into the skin. They give me an anaesthetic at first.
Which anaesthetic?
I can't remember, Shaun, but they give me something for the pain.
An injection?
Yeah, some kind of injection. I can't remember whether I drank it or it was a needle, actually, Shaun. But no, Shaun. Yeah, they did that, and I said, no, let me stitch myself up. But I didn't. I just remembered how verbally how the Vietnamese geezer told me, and basically I did it, and they were saying, yeah, you're lucky, it's superficial. But both of those injuries there, I could feel that I was lopsided.
Had you ever sewn anything as a kid?
No, I remember doing that one with when we were kids, Shaun. That going in that at school, I think. That.
Did you watch Rambo?
Yes.
Well, he sewed himself
that's
up.
right. That's right, Shaun. Yeah, Shaun, that's exactly what I remember.
Remembering what Rambo
Shaun,
did.
no, that's exactly what I remember.
That was your first sewing.
Yeah. So basically, Shaun, I think it was about 5. I did 5 up and 5 down, I think.
And was the pain blocked because your adrenaline and the
No,
anesthetic?
it was just, it was more like not excruciating pain, Shaun.
Wasn't too
More,
bad.
I was lopsided, so I was walking funny. So I've got back now, and then they done that one. Oh, you know, we think your life's in danger.
What were these other injuries you had?
I had a little small one in the neck that was a scratch, but my head was kind of tilted
So they got
for a few days.
It caused something then, did it?
Yeah, I think it was
Impingement.
a little bit of damage, Shaun. But when I got back, they were waiting for me to screws. They said, "Oh, that was a serious attempt. We're going to have to offer you the numbers and blah blah, which is protection."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, you're going to have to carry me off in a coffin." He goes, "Well, I've asked you." Da 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 da. So I stayed behind the door for 2 days, Shaun.
At the same yard
In
that you got
my
stuck
same wing. Yeah, the same
with
wing.
the same people around you.
No, I was on my wing. They were on theirs.
I
so
see.
you don't really socialise on the wings with the separate wing. But there's
You
ways
socialise at rec, is it?
at rec, Shaun.
Yeah.
But Shaun, the funny thing was, Shaun, people do get caught on hiding on other wings and get across if they have to do like me. I used to do. I got another one from Long Lartin where I sneaked on the wing and got locked in. Yeah. And everybody had to be banged up and I had to be put in an E-man suit.
Were you on a
Shaun.
mission?
I was on a mission, but I got caught under the bed, Shaun. After doing it, I know, because I crept past the guard, Shaun. There was a little box in Long Lartin, and they were coming back from gym.
Yeah.
And he turned his head for a minute, but I ducked down, got on the wing. But Long Lartin's got electric doors and that. There's no sanitation in the cells. It's all in the recess. Probably the only Cat A that does that. And I got caught under the wing. Anyway, Shaun,
You almost screwed the head counts up.
yes, sure, I did screw
don't
everybody.
mess with the head
No,
count.
and I got that. Everybody blamed me, Shaun. So I was down the block for 5 days, and when I come back, I was going, "Yammy, man, you're just missing up my program." And da. But anyway, Shaun, the swell side thing. No, I came back. Yeah, I had visions of revenge in my mind. I was thinking, nah, I ain't having this. You wait and and them days you get the big engineer tools from the metal workshop, Shaun.
Big engineering
Big
tools.
where you get the makers, because you find makers that are good with their hands and can sharpen it. And talking about long pieces of metal,
Like
Shaun.
machetes.
See, like machetes, but pointed at the edge and done up really, like you get one poke from that. They're death tools, Shaun.
So where would you hide something like that?
Some people just keep it down their trousers, depending on how hot the prison is, and
Like in your
search it.
mattress or
Yeah, in your mattress, you hide it, but a lot of people hide it away from their cell.
like in the library or somewhere?
No, but on the wing.
On the wing.
Like the laundry.
Yeah.
The association room in the pool table, things like that. So, Shaun, so I came back for 2 days. All my mates going, what was you doing with that H? You're picking up stabs for him. No one likes him, Yammy. You can do things on your own. What's happened now? You can't walk. So on the 3rd day, Shaun, I said, I don't care. I'm going out there on the yard in the morning. But I could hardly walk, Shaun. So I got one of the engineer's tools and I went over as the yard was thing. They were all standing in the corner, but H was now mediating with them, trying to get more gear. He was going, leave it to me. We don't need to do nothing. We'll just get gear off them because they're worried and all that. So I was thinking, no, I ain't doing that after getting stabbed. So
you're out there with a machete then?
I'm outside basically with a machete, and then Shaun, I sneaked on to C-Wing, and I got in. I stabbed the wrong geezer though, Shaun.
No.
One of them things. And
How did that come about?
because I was trying to get to the cell where because obviously he was a big time Charlie dealer and he had a lot of people around him. I found over the years, Shaun, that a lot of dealers in prison, they do it, for they like they can buy people kind of thing.
Oh, they control the yard because they're controlling the drugs. You control the yard.
So Shaun, I'm basically trying to get to his cell and do a quick job before the gate closes. So I'm up there because I was on there for about 10 minutes in the pool room upstairs and waiting for them. He didn't come on the yard, but he had friends mediating with H saying, listen, drop it out. We look after you. We don't need the heat kind of thing. And I've tried to leg it down to his cell, but there's about 7 geezers outside the cell door. And before I got there, someone got out of the air chair and came running towards me.
And did he have a knife?
No, he didn't have a knife, Shaun. And I started waving it about, and I caught him, I think, behind the ear, and I see the blood. It was squirting a little bit, but some of it got on my clothes, Shaun, prison shirt and that. And obviously I tried to double back because I knew then that I wouldn't be able to get into the cell, Shaun. So I tried to leg it back out the gate, but when I legged it out the gate, the screw said, "Oh, you come back here," because he recognised me, and
you got the blood on you.
They got the blood on me. I threw the tool on the greenery of the exercise yard, Shaun, and and they patted me down, took the blood, and they said, "You're not going nowhere, you're nicked," kind of thing. So I got brought on straight from the yard down to the seg.
Does that get you more time, or is it just an internal disciplinary hearing?
Excuse me, Shaun. And
you're fine,
Shaun. That it can get you more time, but
in that situation, what happened?
Because them days during the 90s, it wasn't like and the Board of Visitors were around at that time, Shaun. Like they're the old IMB, like the Independent Monitoring Board that are meant to help with prisoners' things and all that. Having been stabbed a couple of days before, they knew now, the officers well knew that it was a revenge attack. So they already knew that. But
nobody's talking.
But nobody's talking. So I end up down the seg, and I'm still injured from a couple of days ago. And a few of them came down the block as well. And we was all at the window, and they're saying, "Oh, Yammy, and all the mouth of the window warrior stuff started. Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to kill you all, and you wait, like that, Shaun. And the geezer was saying, "All right, we'll leave it. Me and you will have a one-on-one when it's thing, and no need to get anyone involved." So basically, no, Shaun. A couple of weeks down the seg, and a ship out. Them days, it was much easier to get shipped out. Them days was like the ghost train. Like when you fall foul in a Cat A, B, or C, you can get straight on a bus from the seg very, very quickly. These days, they leave you down there longer, want to bring you back on the wing. I notice in recent times, whether you've been half dead or not, they still don't want to move you, Shaun. These days, they'll offer you another wing in the prison where it all continues, Shaun.
Before the ship out, what did the disciplinary board say to you? What was the hearing like?
They fun enough, Shaun, strange. There was a big PO geezer who was a lifter, and obviously they rated, because I used to win I had my gold at powerlifting where I was light and I could deadlift like 240 kilo and squat 200 with no belt on and that kind of stuff, Shaun. And I never used to eat, Shaun. I know, I never took it seriously. He was a trainer, and he didn't like the geezer that stabbed me. So he said to me, he unlocked me one morning. He goes, "Listen, because what you can exercise with who you want on the yard. You can put down in the morning. Can I go on the yard with him?" Going in, because Swellside the block was full at that time, and always is, kind of thing, Shaun. So he said to me, "Yeah, matey boy's out there today. I'm going to let you out there with him." And I went out there, Shaun, like an idiot. I went out there, but I was injured, Shaun. I couldn't even fight properly, but I had a little bit there. But I come out, and I'll never forget it, Shaun. As soon as the gate opened, there was 4 people out there. The gate shut, and as soon as the geezer saw me, he started screaming, going, "Don't come near me." He's telling the other 2.
Dry snitching.
He's dry snitching, Shaun. And he's going, "Yeah, he's got a tool. He must have a tool. If you come anywhere near me." But Shaun, the funny thing was, the officer's mess was up there. And I'll always remember that when he started screaming, I looked at the window up there. I thought, "Oh, that's their office." They shut the window. Like they didn't want to hear. They didn't want to hear Shaun. I know. I'll never forget it, Shaun. It was like the screaming started and all right, we're not hearing that, like kind of thing. Oh, no, Shaun. I went over there and the other two backed off, threw a couple of right hands. He threw a couple, but I was kind of not fully, so it was more of a fat lip, black eye turnout. I picked up one, he picked up one, and then when I got in, the screw said to me, I thought you was going to waste him away. I goes, can't you see? I can't even walk properly. I know. So that one didn't really turn out all that well, Shaun.